everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the JetBase series, a mix of Jetpack Compose and Firebase. In the previous video, we learned how to store a video in Firebase Cloud Storage. Now in this video, we will learn how to fetch a video from Firebase Cloud Storage and display it using a lazy column. So let's continue it. Open the My YouTube app project. First, we need to fetch the videos from the database. Hence, we go to FirebaseStorageHelper. Here, we already have a code to upload the video. So let's write the code to fetch all the videos. Create a suspend function, fetch all videos, which will return at the end a list of video data. A video data consists of video's URL, name, and path. This suspend function, fetch all videos, is used to retrieve a list of videos stored in Firebase storage. It begins by calling FirebaseStorage.listAll.await, which asynchronously fetches all the items or videos in the specified storage reference. The use of await here allows us to pause the coroutine until the list is fully loaded, ensuring the rest of the code runs only after the result is available. Next, the function maps through each item in result.items, where each reference represents a single video file in storage. Map not null ensures that only valid non-null entries are written in the resulting list of videos. Inside the map, we first obtain the video's download URL using reference.downloadurl.await. Again, using await to suspend until the URL is ready. This URL is essential for streaming or displaying the video. We then extract the file's name via reference.name, which helps us in identifying the video. Additionally, reference.path provides the full storage path useful for operations like deletion or updates. Finally, all this information is used to create a video data object containing URL, name, and path. And then also, I'm using the rainbow brackets plugin, so it should be easy for you to identify where the bracket starts and ends. Like for example, the fetch all video function opening bracket is green, and this is where the function ends. So its closing bracket is also green. Likewise, the same for blue and yellow brackets. Next, go to VideoViewModel. Here we will initialize and fetch the list of videos from Firebase storage. So create a fetch videos function. The fetch videos function launches a coroutine using ViewModel scope.launch, which ensures the task run on a background thread. Then it calls FirebaseStorageHelper.fetchAllVideos to get the list of videos from Firebase and assign the result to the video list state variable. Then the init block is executed automatically when the ViewModel instance is initialized. And here it calls fetch videos to immediately start loading video data as soon as we open the app. Next, see, it's not images that we simply display. It's videos which require media playback, which means streaming the videos, playing and pausing, right? Hence, to handle that, remember we added ExoPlayer. That's exactly what we will use. But we need a UI structure like a proper card layout for videos, then play and pause buttons, setting up the ExoPlayer and much more. So create a new class, VideoItem, make it a composable function. This is where we will handle the ExoPlayer and its play and pause buttons. So there's a lot of code to write here, hence focus. The video item composable is designed to display a single video item within a card-style UI using ExoPlayer. We begin by retrieving the context using localcontext.current because ExoPlayer needs a traditional Android context to be instantiated. The ExoPlayer instance is created using remember exoplayer.builder.context.build, which ensures the player is remembered across the recomposition and only created once per video item instance. We declare two state variables, is playing and has ended using remember mutable state of. Initially, keeping both of them false so that the compose can automatically update the UI when their value changes. These are important to track and control playback state and handle replay logic when the video ends. Add imports as well as brackets here. The launched effect video.video URL. Hence, we need a video variable consisting of video data class. Block is triggered whenever the video URL changes. That is when a new video is loaded into the item. Inside this effect, we assign the media to the player using setMediaItem from the URI, that is the video's URL. Then call prepare to make the video ready for playback. We also reset the play state variables, ensuring that when a new video is shown, it's in a consistent pause and not ended state. See, these are very small things but very important. Like if a new video is added, then what will happen to the previous video which was paused? Will it start from the beginning or remain paused? Or what will happen after the video ends? So we have to handle all these little scenarios logically. Next, we use disposable effect video.video URL to register a listener that detects when the video reaches its end. This is done by overriding onPlayback state changed to watch for player.state ended. When this state occurs, we update our flags, marking the video as ended and not playing. This allows us to show a replay button and control playback accordingly. Finally, add the listener to our ExoPlayer. Then inside onDispose, we remove the listener and call ExoPlayer.release. This is important because ExoPlayer holds system resources like audio, video, and surface rendering, and if we fail to release them, it could lead to memory leaks or crashes. Now comes the UI part. In the UI part, we use a card as the outer container to give a box-like structure with fill max width and 12 dp padding. Inside it, we place a box to allow stacking multiple items like video and buttons. The actual video player UI is shown using Android View, which let us embed a traditional Android player view inside Compose. We disable the default ExoPlayer control buttons by setting use controller is equal to false because we are adding our custom buttons. Then the box modifiers are fill max width and height is 200 dp. At the bottom left of the video, we place a row with play pause button. The row modifier includes fill max width, 8 dp padding, bottom start alignment, and vertical alignment as center vertically. Then the play pause button logic comes. We create an icon button whose on-click handles the logic for playing, pausing, or replaying the video after it ends based on the current playback state. So focus. When the button is clicked, it first checks if the video is currently playing using if is playing. If true, it means the video is in progress. So the player can be paused using ExoPlayer.pause, and the is playing flag will be set to false to reflect that the video is no longer playing, which means it is in a pause state. Else, if the video is not playing, the else block is triggered. Within it, the code checks if has ended to determine if the video has finished playing. If so, it syncs the video back to the beginning using ExoPlayer.sync to 0 to prepare for replay, and reset has ended to false. Whether the video was paused or had ended, ExoPlayer.play is then called to start or resume playback, and is playing is set to true to reflect the new state. This if-else flow ensures the button handles 3 functionalities: pausing a running video, resuming a paused video, or replaying a finished video. Got it? Then we will use the icon to determine the playback state. So if it's playing means video is playing. In that case, a pause icon button will be shown. As we don't have an icon for pause in default, so we will use the refresh icon instead of pause. Else, If the video has ended or it is in a pause mode, then the icon button will be a play arrow. Likewise, give a content description for it too. If playing, then pause. Else, if not playing or paused, then play. The icon tint color is white. And then, next, once we have our video item, let's display it using a lazy column. So go to display video screen. Here we already have a floating action button and a gallery launcher. So let's create a lazy column. But before that, we need a top app bar too. So inside the scaffold and above the floating action button, create a top app bar with title text YouTube. Then set the colors where the container color is red and the title content color is white. Add the exception. Next, inside the scaffold body, below the padding, we had temporarily created a lazy column in the previous video with content padding. This lazy column creates a vertically scrollable list of video items like how we have YouTube UI. So inside that lazy column, create items. Make sure the import is the items list. Inside the list, items ViewModel.VideoList, comma, key is equal to it.storagePath. Efficiently renders each video item from the video list. The key is set to storage path, a unique identifier for each video in Firebase. For each item, the video item composable is called with the video parameter, which draws the UI for that individual video, including playback controls. And that's it. Our read functionality is also done. Let's run the app and check. Look, the video that we stored in the previous tutorial is displayed successfully. I can play the video, pause it, and when the video ends, I click on the play button again and it begins the video from the start. Let me quickly add another video too and see the list of videos in a lazy column format. Great! In the next video, we will learn how to delete the video from the Firebase storage. Okay? So yeah, that's it for the video. If you are new to this channel, then please consider subscribing to my channel and I'll see you in the next video.